How about the thoroughbred that is Kamaru Usman? I mean, holy smokes, 14 straight now in the UFC, 19 overall. He disposes of his rival, Jorge Masvidal, with a second-round TKO, a right hand cocked all the way back from Nigeria to Jacksonville. The shots of the sweat flying off Jorge Masvidal's, forehead, incredible. And so important to note, that was Jorge Masvidal's 50th pro fight. Going into that fight, he had only been TKO'd once in his career. That was back in 2008. Last time he was finished, submission, 2009, Toby Imada fight. I mean, what Kamaru did on Saturday, nothing short of amazing. I'm assuming you are very impressed with this man. And I just want to know, did you see this coming? Like, he has now evolved into a complete MMA fighter. And especially in the last 2 years, I think he's in the discussion. Pound for pound best. He really is.
I think, honestly, with Habib being gone and Jones's lack of activity, I think Usman is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. I think when these updates come out tomorrow, we should see Kamaru Usman as number one. He's number two now. But I believe that what he is doing is so impressive. And now the activity, right? Because July to April, we've seen him defend that belt 3 times.
Yeah.
He's not sitting on the sidelines waiting. He could have done the show, waited until August, but he's back again. And since December of 2019, dude has fought and defended that belt 4 times. That is so impressive. And his ability to deal with these guys in the way that he does, it really is next level, because he's fighting the absolute best of the best. That's what happens whenever you become the champion. You get the most scary, dangerous guy every single time. He's not only beating these guys, he's disposing of them in a way that it leaves no question. So, fantastic performance by the champ. I love that you, me, everybody in the world now called him Kamaru Usman, because this man, as Rashad Evans said so beautifully last week, has grown into his name. The champion of the world, proud African heritage that he proudly displays. He goes out there and he dominates in a way that it's a sight to behold. I cannot believe that he is doing it in the way that he's doing it. Yeah, nobody would have thought he would have knocked Masvidal out in the way that he did. And also, I was about to say something else. I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened there. What happened?
I was like, I short-circuited.
Are you done or not?
One of those spiced peppers went into my throat as I was finishing my thought. And by the way, why were you letting me call Masvidal George for a whole show last week without saying, Daniel, his name's Jorge?
Some people, why, did someone call you out on that? Some people?
Everybody. You let me call this man George for 2 weeks when his name's Jorge.
So here's the thing. It's a weird thing because I've always called him Jorge. His management team, his very good friends call him Georgie, believe it or not. I know some people close to him actually call him George as well. So I've asked him, what do you prefer? So it's not bad. It's not bad.
Thank you. Because I was like, man, I'm disrespectful. But then when I saw him, he didn't even bring it up. So it's he didn't have like any issues with it.
No.
A lot of people were like, dude, that's not his name.
No, whenever like Abe or Malky or his coaches talk to me about him, they always say Georgie. So I just thought you were on the inside. I thought you were part of that inner circle.
I didn't know. Anyways, Usman is the man. And you know how you know he's the man now? I was watching First Take this morning. They started with the Nets and the Knicks. Second topic, Kamaru Usman. That is a big deal. Normally.
Because of the fact that he's now won 14 straight in the UFC. The record, by the way, is 16 in a row by the great Anderson Silva. He is very close, amazingly, of beating that record. He has now tied Pat Miletich for most wins in welterweight title fights, 5. The only ones who are ahead of him are Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre. That's it. You're talking about rarefied air. And so let me ask you this. Is it unfair to Henry Hooft and the Sanford MMA team to say he has become a much better fighter and, more importantly, a much better striker since teaming up with the great Trevor Whitman in Colorado? Was this always a part of was this coming regardless? Or when you watch him now, the version that we've now seen 3 times, right? Because he's been with Whitman for July against Masvidal, Burns, and now this fight, do you feel he is a better, different, more improved striker as a result of that pairing?
I do, but
why?
There's no knock on Henry Hooft and his style of coaching.
No. I'm not. That's what I'm trying to do. Right.
But I think at times you find a coach and an athlete pairing that just matches up well. And I believe that for Usman, you saw it in the Woodley fight. At times, he would kind of start to wing punches. I feel like Whitman has allowed for him to slow everything down. Because that's Trevor, right? Trevor's that guy, right? Trevor's like, slow, slow. Fight behind the jab, you're the best in the world. Fight behind the jab, you're the best in the world. And now you see Usman doing that. When Usman would wing punches, and I said this on the broadcast Saturday, when he starts trying to just load up and knock you out, he misses and he misses big. And he looks like he doesn't know how to strike. But when he slows everything down, right, and he puts that jab on you, whether it's from the conventional or the southpaw side, he throws it straight. He's very accurate, and he can really process things better. So even when he was popping Masvidal with the jab and the lead right hand, he even had quite a few lead right hands where he's just there and he's just snapping out the right hand as if it's a jab. He was popping the head back on Masvidal, but then he was jab, 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 jab. Then he threw the slap left hook. When he threw the slap left hook, you got to when anytime a punch is coming at you, you got to see those punches. Everybody always talks about not seeing the punches. The punches you don't see are the ones that knock you out. Teddy Atlas said this beautifully the other day. Teddy said, he shifted the eyes of Masvidal with the left hand. He shifted the eyes of Masvidal. So when he threw the left hook, Masvidal has to see the left hook, right? So the hand goes up, the right hand goes up to block the left hook. When he sees the left hook, he did not see the right hand coming down the middle. That put him out. And only a mind like Atlas can see that, right? Because he understands striking and boxing at a different level. So for Usman, blind him with the jab, blind him with the jab, blind him with the jab. Then you change the pattern. Instead of it coming straight at the face, you throw it around the side. And when you threw it around the side, Masvidal go, defend the hook. Boom, right hand stunned him. Chin to his shoulder. Bro, it was, and I just truly believe he has slowed down under Trevor Whitman. So no, I don't think that he would still be the champion today if he was with Sanford MMA. I don't believe for a second anyone would have taken that belt off of him. But I believe that the guy that we're seeing now, I don't know if anybody can beat him.
Listen, go back to the first Colby fight, and of course, we'll get to Colby in a second. This isn't the same striker. I was not impressed with the striking in that fight. He was getting hit a lot. It was not as smooth. It was not as fluid as it is today. So there are improvements. And by the way, shout out to Trevor Whitman. Of course, we will get to him too. But what a night, man! Between Rose and Kamaru, what a night for that man.
But even that, right? Like from last year, we went to Jacksonville. Justin Gaethje doing what he did to Tony Ferguson.
He was my coach of the year 2020.
Yeah, to get think about that though. He's a coach of the year in 2020. So imagine he might be coach of the year again. Because now Rose has got her belt back. Usman defended his belt. And Gaethje is still in the mix. It's like he's got a small team of people. But boy, are they good.
Let me ask you about Masvidal. Was he not serious enough? Did he not respect Usman's power enough? There were moments there where he was and people do that. They get tagged. They smile. Usually when they smile, that means they got hurt, right?
Yeah,
that's usually the thing. But it felt like his guard was down. Like, did he not respect Usman's power enough because of how the first fight went, in your opinion?
Well, he said it. He said it. He said as much, right? He does. I've never been in there with anyone that hits less so soft. He said it himself. I mean,
before, yeah.
There is no question as to whether or not he respected the power of Usman. He told you that he didn't necessarily respect the power of Usman. I think that for Jorge Masvidal, he should have changed his mind after the very first right hand in round one. Because Usman hit him with a nasty right hand right at the early parts of the fight. And Masvidal smiled at him. Like, if that right hand didn't put you on notice, nothing will. Because even if it didn't floor you, you know that he has that ability to get to your chin. And if he has that ability to get to your chin with his right hand like that, you take too many of them, you're going down. It's simple. You cannot let a guy that's as big and strong as Kamaru Usman tee off on you like that. Crazy, man. That was a mistake made by a guy that has 50 professional fights. But Jorge Masvidal is the American dream, right? This is a guy that built some momentum and put himself into 2 UFC championship fights. He should not hang his head on anything. Nobody would have ever thought he would even be there. A guy that has lost that many fights, those guys don't fight for championships. Those guys are the ones that you usually see at the top of the pay-per-view because they are exciting fights. They're going to win or they're going to lose. But Gamebred gained so much momentum in that year that he was fighter of the year. He got put on a video game. He fought for the UFC championship twice. He shouldn't hang his head. But the reality is, and I hope this doesn't come off as disrespectful in any way. And Usman said it. There's elite, and then there's very, very good. And I just feel like maybe Gamebred was a little bit of a level beneath Usman, and it showed on Saturday. But truly inspiring to see what he's done, to beat the guys in the way that he did, take everything together, his personality, his ability to fight, his willingness to fight, and make everybody forget everything else, right? Going into that fight on Saturday, Rogan talked about it, how good he did in round number 1 in the first fight. Fans around the world, people bet him to beat one of the greatest welterweights of all time. This is a man that going into the fight had 14 losses, but he had done such a good job of promoting himself and fighting in the way that he fought that people were picking him to beat one of the greatest welterweights of all time. So he should be credited. But as Usman said, there are levels, and Kamaru Usman is the absolute elite of mixed martial arts, and I just don't know if Jorge was that.
Yeah, Jorge has nothing to worry about. He will still be a draw. We have plenty of greats in this sport. Randy Couture, Nathan Diaz, BJ Penn before his recent stretch who had double-digit losses and were still beloved and will still forever be beloved. So
yeah,
there are plenty of fights for Masvidal if he wants to continue. He's got this new bare-knuckle MMA promotion starting in June. Life is good for this man. He has made a boatload of money over the last couple of years. So I don't think this hurts his stock. But yes, you're right. There is an elite category in this sport in every weight class, and Usman's in that category. And so now the question is, can Colby beat him? Colby says the first fight was going his way and he was robbed. That's a different Kamaru Usman, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's a different. Now, I think Colby is number 2 at welterweight right now.
Colby's elite.
Yes, and they are rewarding him for sitting, which I don't love. And by the way, I feel for Leon Edwards. Poor Leon is going to have to win again.
Here's the problem, though, man. Here's the problem. Nate Diaz is such a big name.
Yeah.
That if Leon Edwards goes out there and if Leon Edwards can replicate what Jorge Masvidal did against Nate Diaz, I'm telling you, internally, they will start looking at that fight with Usman.
It is imperative that Colby Covington gets a fight done, signed, sealed, and delivered before May 15th, because you're 100% right. Before
he
Leon,
needs to.
He needs to get this signed before May 15th, because I agree with you. And I think there's a part of Usman, believe it or not, that would like to give it to Leon.
Well, listen, it's no secret. Colby Covington is the toughest fight in that division. I don't care what you say about Colby Covington.
100%.
Colby Covington's a dog. Colby Covington trains hard. He fights hard. He's always in great shape, and he's a full-on competitor. He's always going to bring it. He'll be the toughest guy. Leon Edwards did a good job against Usman last time, and his striking is going to be a problem in the future. But this new Kamaru may be able to strike with the dude. But for Colby Covington, dude's got to get this thing in writing. Maybe not Usman's side needs to be signed, but he has got to get his contract signed before we get to May. Because if Leon Edwards goes out there and he batters Nate Diaz, they'll start to think about it.
And DC, God forbid, Stockton's own Nathan Diaz pulls
Nate
off
wins. Nate's getting a title fight. Let me tell you this. Nate, listen.
That's the worst thing to happen to Colby, right?
Nate wins. I can tell you this. I said that if Leon Edwards can beat Nate Diaz like Masvidal did, they'll start to think about it. Nathan Diaz wins this fight, there's no question. Colby gets bumped. I am certain Diaz will then fight Usman for the title, because guess what? If Usman's smart, Diaz wins, he starts to call Diaz out just like he did with Masvidal.
100%.
This is the fight I want. Absolutely.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.